Alright, I went to Home Depot and spent probably an hour or more just looking around. So this is a load center, 100 amp. 6 spaces, they call it 12 circuits. You do not get a ground bar kit. That's fucking lame. Purchase separately. Home line circuit breakers, ground line kit. Why do they not do that? It's made in Mexico, which is kind of cool. It's an indoor square D by Snyder Electric, and a big ass company. I'm not sure I understand how 6 circuit breakers can make 12 circuits unless it's a double breaker in a single spot. That's the only thing I can think of that they're probably referring to. So, purchase ground bar kit. I do have a ground bar kit out of another panel. It's just way too big for this one. It's really kind of strange why they don't have that. But anyway, 10-year warranty, not bad, I guess. Better than nothing, right? But this is just going to be for my inverter, and it's going to go on the wall over there. Now, there should have been something like this out here in the shop in the first place. They ran like, I don't know, 12 gauge or 14 gauge wire out here to a GFI, and then that run everything. However, it wasn't intended to power anything special. It was back behind there, and I removed the GFI because they kept tripping with my radios. So there was a GFI outlet. There's 2 outlets here, light switch, an outlet here, and then maybe one more outlet here. So there was like a total of like 1, 2, 3. There was like 4 outlets, all on a 15 amp breaker. So I ran the other 240 out here, and that's 12 gauge wire, so it's really only made for an amplifier, not really a welder, but I've used it for both. And I've got that wired in the wall over here behind me. And now I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, the inverter's plugged in. And that's not how they really want you to have the inverter. But the problem with the inverter is that although it has its own breakers, it's only got L1 and L2. Okay? And let's see here. I'm looking in here and trying to take a look. L1, L2. Okay, so yeah, each breaker is just L1 and L2, and then you get a neutral and you get an earth. So it should be bonded at the panel, and the only way it's bonded at the panel is if you're plugged into the grid. So if you had this fully off grid, you would need to have an earth ground, and you would bond the neutral and the ground, what do they call it, statically, dynamically, I don't know, permanently in this inverter. You can turn it on or off. It's not like it can't be switched on the fly. It has to be shut down and then turned on or off. I don't know what they refer that to as. Static, I don't know. So basically, if it's off grid, it needs a ground. If it's connected to the grid, you will be protected as long as you don't unplug that thing from there. That's why it's really not recommended to do it that way. It should be hardwired into your grid, but there are times where you're not going to want that. I'd rather have it completely independent, but what we're going to be doing, L1 and L2 in the neutral, are going to be going to this panel here, and this is going to allow me to use my amplifier. I'll have another deal with 240 volts for my amplifier. And I won't have to come in here and unplug the inverter when I want to use my amplifier. So, and then also I'll be able to use my amplifier off grid when the power's out. And then there'll be 2 other breakers for the other 2 air conditioners. So, actually 3. We're going to have 3. So we got 2 in the house and 1 out here. So we get 3 air conditioners. So that's how we're going to do that. And if this thing had been done correctly, they probably would have run some like 8 gauge wire out to a small 100 amp panel like this and put like a 30 or something in it, you know, at the main. I would guess. I don't know. 8 gauge wire, I don't know how many amps it carries over a period of like maybe 20 feet or less. It does matter how far away it is, but anyway, we got some old breakers here. They're GEs. Some of them are GEs. I don't know what this one is. Put that one separately. I can't tell what that one is. ITE. I don't know. These are Westinghouses right here. It is hot in here, guys. I had everything off all day. It's 88 degrees in here. There's another GE. One of these. Another GE. Another GE. We'll probably use the GEs. I can't read this one, but I think it's 20. Yeah, it's 20. Oh, wait. I can't read it. This is also a GE. Interesting. Okay. It's just an older one. Okay. I honestly think this one looks... There's no way I can't read that. That looks like it says 20. If you look at it from this direction. I'm going to assume it's a 20 because these all came out of the same panel. $20's good, but I actually wouldn't mind having 15 for a couple of them, but whatever. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This should all be compatible. This one here, I don't know if this one's going to be compatible. Let's see. Yeah, it looks good. I'm going to inspect all these and take a look. These are wobbled out. I don't know, is that... It's a little wide to me. kind of wide. That one looks a little better. Yeah, these are kind of iffy, if you ask me. I don't know about that one. That one's not too bad. Let's see how these look. Oh, these look pretty good. Anyway, we got our panel here, so let's just go ahead and take a look and see if this stuff's even going to fit. I may have to work around it. God damn, dude. Serious? It's got knockouts on the back. You can hang it here. I'm going to try to go through the back, I think. I don't want to look at the wires. We get, take a look at the, let me move this thing. I also picked up this flexible waterproof conduit. So it says max 100 amps. C main or service disconnect rating if installed. Main terminals suitable for number 8 to number 1 wire or 10-aught SE compact stranded aluminum wire. Neutral lug kit is required for termination. Neutral lug kit is required for termination of number 3 gauge or larger conductor on panel board neutral. If needed, order kit separately. This is ampere rating to 70. Suitable for use with service equipment when service disconnected. Suitable for use as service equipment when not more than 6 main disconnecting means are provided, and when not used as a lighting and appliance branch panel board. When used as service equipment, all unused neutral terminals may be used for terminating equipment ground wires. Yeah, that makes sense. When used as service equipment, install service entrance barrier kit for back-fed main breaker. Barrier does not allow the load center to be serviced energized. Use square D type HOM and class CTL HOMT branch circuit breakers and replace parts with this product. C circuit breaker field installed unit for wiring binding screw Torx. Line neutral lug and main lugs 8 to 6 aught 1 50 inch pounds or foot pounds, yeah, inch pounds. Branch neutral and equipment grid bar 10 to 14, 10 to 12 aluminum, 20 inch pounds. 8, 25, 4 to 6 aluminum, 35. Equipment ground bar combinations 2, 14 or 12 CU copper, I guess. 2, 12 or 10 AL aluminum. 2 single poles, 1 plug on space type may be used. Single pole HOM, 2 pole HOM 70 amp max or HOM may plug on any 2 adjacent spaces. one 2-pole each OM 100 amp max 2 plug on spaces. Maximum continuous loads not to exceed 80% of the amperage rating of any overcurrent device installed. And it's a nice little picture and everything. So this is pretty cool. So I don't know if we can see it in here, but and then it's in Spanish on the bottom. So definitely neat. So not much of an electrician really. I've definitely worked for electrical companies. So I think you can put here, if you want, you can put a main breaker right here, and then that'll feed all the other 4. Or you can feed the panel directly and have 6 breakers. So I like that. That's cool. So I could get away with that one, a main breaker. I have to go get one, but and then 3 and 4 could be my 220, and then 5 and 6 could power different air conditioners. But what I'm going to try to do is put each air conditioner on its own run, and I'm not going to worry about a main breaker in here because these are all fed from a main breaker on the inverter. So you can put 100 amp right there and then the rest. So pretty cool. Ground when required, bond when required, and that's how they show you. And then all the rest of this is just the same thing, but basically in Spanish. So this is really nice, really thick. It's pretty thick. I've dealt with other panels that weren't this thick at all, like not even close. So I'm actually kind of surprised at how thick this material is. I mean, it is nice. So anyway, our panel comes with some instructions, a bonding screw, and the front screws. And you got, this is not a flush mount enclosure. They do sell a lot of those. So that's the top, so that's the neutral. And then what they were showing here, ground when required. I don't know why where would you put a separate ground bus? One of these, I guess. So when you leave that screw out, that neutral is floating from here. We're not going to bond that. We don't want it on there. So yeah, it just wouldn't be good. But yeah, if you want to bond it, you can. It's right here, and it just screws down in here, goes into the back of the case, I would imagine. Yep, right there. So this is really gnarly thick too. Well, I got bad news. None of my breakers fit this. This is designed for something different. They're completely different. I don't know what these are called, to be honest, but these are what are on the house, and I think everything else. So it may not be worth it for me to use this box if I can find the right box, because I have all these breakers. Breakers aren't cheap. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to ask my old neighbor and see if he knows. He's an electrician. So he'll be able to tell me pretty quickly, I'm pretty sure. He might even have some I can have. But, yeah. So, that's the end of that adventure for now.